What's up, gun enthusiasts? Greg Rowe Show Tactical. With it being the end of the year here in roughly 5 or 6 weeks, I just sort of wanted to make a quick video here on doing kind of an EDC thing of sort of what I am carrying, what I am using every single day right now. I'm a minimalist at heart. I don't really, I don't really carry, two different knives, a lighter, a multi-tool, two different guns, like 3 mags, like a tourniquet. I don't carry all of that type of stuff. I'm not knocking anybody that does. I just personally don't do that. I think that, when it comes to EDC, it's really a personal preference thing, but it is also, it also has to do with, your demographic. Where do you live? Where do you work? Where do you go? What kind of threats do you foresee yourself possibly encountering on any given day in any of those aspects? I don't live in a really terrible area. I don't work in a really terrible area. I don't go to really terrible areas. Some people may do that by choice. Some people may do that because they have to out of necessity, but I personally don't. So I think all of those things sort of play a factor in, what kind of things you're carrying, what kind of gun you're carrying, what kind of caliber, how many rounds, how many extra mags, all that sort of thing. I think all of that plays a factor in your EDC and should. Getting into this, I'm going to start with the watch that I'm using right now. I've used a lot of watches in the past, from Casio and Luminox. I'm a real big fan of, that type of watch. I do have nicer watches in my collection from like Tissot and Longines and all that sort of thing. I know some people in the tactical world, a lot of these retired special forces guys, maybe are wearing Rolexes and all that stuff every day. Personally, that's just not my lifestyle. I don't foresee myself ever doing that. It's not important to me to wear a Rolex. Some people it is. But what I'm currently using is this watch, which is a G-Shock. I believe this is the 950. It says step tracker on there. The reason I got this is I'm a big fan of the analog digital. It has the hands and the digital, as you can see, the digital display there on the bottom, but it also has Bluetooth capability, which I think is really cool. As you can see there on the digital readout, it has the date and the time. The Casio sort of has this digital display sort of to the side up here slanted, and all it does is have the date on it. So I wasn't a huge fan of the way that looks. I know a lot of people like those, but to me, I just really like this digital and analog display. Reminds me a lot of like the Scuba Pro or the Chronosport watch that Stallone wore in Rambo 2. And I'm a huge fan of that. So that's what I'm wearing every day. I like the ability to, change time zones or whatever and have that sort of hooked up to my phone and sort of automatically do that, so I don't have to sit there and press the buttons and mess with everything. So that's what I'm using. The knife that I'm using is a Spyderco folder. I did carry a Microtech in the past, which they're great knives, whatever, cool. They're pricey or whatever, but they're good knives. But the reason I went with this is because Spyderco, I grew up in Colorado, and Spyderco is a Golden, Colorado company. I had, been to the Spyderco, store, factory, whatever you want to call it, multiple times. It's pretty cool. They are world renowned for their knives. For how sharp they are, the quality, everything like that. There's a lot of people all over the world carrying these knives, and so it's not only a good choice, but to me sort of pays homage to where I grew up. Getting into the how I carry my spare mag. I carry in this DeSantis Pocket mag carrier. As you can see, it's got some flexibility to it, but it's still pretty rigid. You can see it's got sort of a texture there that looks like maybe Glock texture that allows it to sit in your pocket, and then when you pull the mag out, it doesn't come out with it. This is what the mag looks like in there, and you just pull it out. There's no real retention. It sits in there nicely, so it's not gonna whatever, but you can get it out easily if you need to. The reason I started carrying something like this in my pocket instead of on my, belt on extra mag carry like some people do is because when I first started getting really into EDC and stuff like that, one of the guys that I really was watching and paying attention to was James Yeager of Tactical Response. He sadly passed away a few years ago from ALS, but he had something like this built from NSR, which is it was a Kydex piece that had no retention, but he just sort of set it in his pocket. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So, I sort of, kind of copied that from him. It works for me. Again, like I said, being a minimalist, I don't like a whole bunch of things all over my belt and whatnot. But getting into the gun that I'm carrying right now, it's a Glock 43. This is my favorite Glock. I just really like, basically everything about it. The only thing I didn't like about it is the slide. I thought the slide on the 43 and the 42 were garbage. Just the finish on them was terrible. Didn't like that they didn't have, front cocking serrations on it. So I changed that out. I do have a couple different slides for this gun, but this one's my favorite. This is the Grey Ghost Precision. I don't know which model it is, but it's got the diamond checkering on it. You can see there. And I just really like this. I really like the way this gun fits and feels and functions. Everything on the lower on this is stock OEM. It's got a stock OEM trigger, the mag release, all of the internals on this gun, recoil spring, extractor, striker, backplate, everything are all stock. The only thing I did change or put on this was some blacked out Ameriglow sights. That's just something that, I personally like. It's easy for me to pick up, and I don't... so that's why I put those on there. I did not put an optic on this just because a gun of this size, to me, is just ridiculous. This is obviously for, close encounters. And as I've stated in the past before, I don't know how realistic in a self-defense situation in close, when a whole bunch of chaos is going on, how realistic it is that you're going to be able to get out, get the optic up to your sight line and use it. So I didn't put one on this pistol. It's got a stock barrel on it. I don't see any reason to change out, the barrel on a Glock. They're proven they work. They're plenty accurate. They last a long time. They will last longer probably than anything else on the gun will. So I didn't see any reason to change that out. I did change, the one thing I did change was the slide catch, slide release, whatever you want to call it, to, I believe that's Tyrant, because the one that comes on all Glocks is terrible. Getting into the holster I'm using, I believe this holster is made by Gorilla Tactical. It's like the Shining carpet from the movie The Shining. Again, this much like the Spyderco knife is just really a homage to where I grew up. The Shining was, the Shining TV miniseries was filmed at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, but that hotel was the inspiration for the movie, even though it was filmed at, the Overlook in Oregon for the movie. The carpet has always been something that's, been kind of ingrained in my mind. And, I just thought it was a really cool homage to where I grew up to, kind of have that Kydex pattern. It does have the DCC monoblock clip on it, the wing as well. And then something I added to the back is this wedge from Vetter. I was looking at a couple different things, but I like how, like slim and minimalistic this is. It just fits, it works. It probably makes it, in my opinion, 25 to 30% more comfortable to carry over just carrying a regular Kydex holster. Some of the other ones I've seen are, the material isn't great. This is really well put together. It's really tough. It's just really nice, and I found that it works for me. So that's sort of what I'm using, carrying right now. Again, you can, disagree. You can say, oh, you should be carrying this, you should be carrying that. Again, all this stuff is personal preference. It all depends on your demographic, where you live, where you work, where you go. all of those sort of things. So, yeah, that's what I'm using here. As we sort of round out the year, let me know what you're using in the comment section below. What watch are you wearing a watch? If so, which one? What knife are you carrying? What brand? What gun are you carrying? How are you carrying your mag? What holster brand do you like? What's your go-to? I'd be curious to hear all of those things in the comment section below. As always love to have the conversation. So hope you enjoyed the video of what I am EDCing here. Curious to hear what you are. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the section below. And as always, I'm out of here.